please elaborate? Where do you see India in next 50 years, and in achieving that objective for 50 years of your vision? What kind of challenges you would also envisage during its way in the next 50 years, where India is going to go through, so that in both parts? Yeah, please.
Yeah, Bala, I had a discussion recently with some fellow student, not a fellow colleague from another organization. I just asked him, see, why India is not getting investment, why China has managed to get more investment than why German companies are investing more in China than in India. That guy, that colleague told me, see, democracy itself is a kind of hindrance for a country. You can, on the one side, you can see democracy as an advantage, which strengthens the fundamental rights, which guarantees the fundamental rights and protect the human rights of people. But on the other side, you have a lot of bureaucracy in that way. You have a kind of bureaucracy, red tapeism surrounded by this democracy that hinders, because of your population. It's very difficult to have a kind of mechanism to streamline all those things. So one of the main problem he cited is a corruption problem. So this is the only one of the foremost reasons why India is not India is lagging behind China in attracting huge investments. As China is I said China is a dictatorship. It's a kind of dictatorship, and it's very as a company, I would think twice to invest in that country. But he says, no, it's like dictatorship works well because they are regulating those things and regulating the problem of corruption and regulating the red tapeism, so that things move forward quickly and the people who are investing can start the business as early as possible. So he justifies the dictatorship as a kind of condition favoring investments, which I always disagree, because democracy is a strength, and democracy is is a kind of favorable environment where one can invest. So the main problem, what he cited, was red tapeism and corruption. We have the governance system, which we had inherited from British rule. So we haven't undertaken any reform in that administrative system. If you see 1947 till 2020, we haven't had any reforms, administrative reforms in the governance of India. So that itself is a major hindrance, I would say. Successive governments have tried, but it is very difficult to kind of undertake this huge process, which will ensure a kind of efficient governance. But it's very difficult for the government to have a kind of modern governance system, which is completely digitized. And corruption, of course, the piling up of cases in courts is a kind of gross hindrance in the judicial system that hinders corruption cases not moving forward and stays there for a long period. There were cases where even the person who was charged with corruption retired, and then he was taking retirement benefits also. After 30 years, his case was decided. So there are some administrative laggings also behind that. So what I would say is the challenge, first and foremost challenge is our system, reforms in the administrative systems, and then the corruption. When these both two combined together is a huge hindrance for our development or growth. If one can, the civil services also, the Union Public Service Commission, it was also like the same as we had in 50 years. Even the British colonial power, they have introduced a new civil service system, but we are still using those former colonial British pattern of civil services. So that is a kind of a hindrance to the development. But in other fields, in education, as I said, the government has chosen 17 sustainable development goals, and they are working on that area, and especially in the fields of education, improvement of infrastructure, health sector, and gender equality. So these four more, I'm looking forward to see that development in 2015, because we are currently seeing witnessing those things, like in the health sector or in the education sector. We are doing good job. So we are moving ahead in that areas, and gender equality also. We are making advancements. So in these four sectors, I would say India is moving solidly, and there will be kind of good growth in 2050. But in other areas, poverty eradication, for example, or complete abolition of caste system, or whatever the systems, or rural poverty, I would say it's a very difficult task to go. But for that, we need to have a kind of a modern and efficient governance system, and of course, we need to eradicate the corruption in the system too.
Right. I think with this, well said, I think we all look forward to, because I think India has become, let's say, a central negotiating partner in various issues across the world. It has become a very crucial partner as well, not only within the neighboring regions, but also in many cases. And whether it is a United Nations institution or it is World Health Organization or many things, India has taken very active, and peacekeeping forces.
Yes,
India is the
exactly.
largest contributor to the world. So I think we are doing a lot, not only within, and we are also building, for example, democracy institutions like of built by India. So I think a lot of things are we are doing in spite of all the challenges within a country which strives to move very, very forward with the modern ideas, but at the same time, I think Indian civilization, as it's old it has its modern thoughts even that time. It's all about how you see modern, how you use modern, the way, people, it's not about the way you dress or the way you think, it's more about your thoughts and the process. And I think when we look at the excavations that's happening in the archaeological department in India, I think a lot of new facts are coming about the thought process of the people very, very long ago, which the world doesn't know. So with that, I think that's another topic for itself to think about, and it will
Yes,
be, I think,
Bala.
very interesting for us to discuss about this one. But today, thanks a lot, Saravanan, and
Thank you, Bala.
viewers.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and we will publish this episode also very soon after the working on editing and everything. And nice weekend, Saravanan. We will catch up.
Thank you, Bala. Thank
Raja,
you very much for the
thank you.
opportunity.